YouTube? I'm back again today for another Kickstarter Critique where I take a look at a different Kickstarter project every weekday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and give you my honest thoughts on how that Kickstarter project is being ran. And today, I'm very excited to be checking out the 151st most popular project on all of games. And yes, 151. They do go down that low. That is Fumble, the football-themed card game. A fast-paced 2 to 6 player football-themed game using playing cards and pong. Now, everything here looks really cool, especially if you happen to be people that be interested in this game, which is me. I love football. I adore football. I eat, breathe football. I play fantasy football. I love football. I love card games. I love Pong. If you go back to my earliest videos, when I first started getting into reviewing games, I used to always mention how beer pong was in my top 5 favorite games. Like, I think it might have been my first top 10. One of them might have been beer pong. It was an honorable mention. So I am the market for this. Now, the big issue that I have right here, and part of the reason why I think it's so far down at 151st in popularity, is the fact it's in playing cards. Now, yes, it's probably a tuck box deck of cards, I'm going to infer based on seeing that. But the bottom line is, playing cards is not really the spot for games most of the time. When you go in here, you see tarot cards, you see fancy decks, you see artwork, you see artists, you see premium cards. You don't typically see games, especially not football-themed beer pong games. You see what I'm saying here? So I just feel like putting it in playing cards was immediately handicapping this. I would highly recommend moving it over to tabletop games because, you know, there's a lot of people who like football. And this has a very low funding goal, I'm going to assume, at $314. So even a minor tweak like that could make a big difference. Now, that being said, 151st on the popularity means it's going to be hard for people to find this, which brings me back to another point. You know, get on Board Game Geek. This game is not on Board Game Geek. There's a lot of people on Board Game Geek who love football games. How do I know this? Because I've reviewed quite a few football games, and I will tell you what, they are a very devoted crowd. They are constantly like, I just had someone last week talking to me about some football game that I reviewed like 6 years ago, and they were asking me a question about it. It is a loyal group, and so if you had a football-themed game, I think you would immediately have people interested in this game, but you gotta get on Board Game Geek to do that. But the main image I do like. I'd like to see a price, especially if it is on the lower point. Oh, Thundermouse Games. I should have tried to tag them on Twitter. Didn't even see it. So it's $314, 13 backers. As always, when we go to the video, I'm thinking 3 things. Do I want it? Can you do it? How much is it? Let's go. I like that logo. Immediately, like the video, spotlighting kids, because that answers a question that I have in my mind a lot of the time when I'm looking at a Kickstarter game. Is this something that I could play with my children? And you have now put my brain into family game mode. Everything else is icing on the cake. If this is something I can play with my game night, great. If this is something I play with my boys at the bar, great. I mean, my boys as in my friends, which are not all boys. They're boys and girls, so they're not boys and girls because they're not allowed at bars. You get what I'm saying here. I should figure it a different word. Anywho, I like the fact we're including children here because it immediately shows me the family game. So, Spoons-esque passing cards. Cool. I love Spoons variants. Yeah, Spoons. But, oh. Orange Ball scores 6 points and a chance for an extra point. I'm assuming that's because he has 5 of a kind. Oh, so you're grabbing the ball. Okay. So kicking is bounce beer pong, pretty much. 3 to 6 players, ages 13 plus, 10 to 20 minutes. Is this the packaging? If this is the design package, now obviously you can see that this is a prototype packaging, but if this is the packaging that you're going for, I really think that this could be a winner. Because that, like, tell me you couldn't see that at your local Barnes & Nobles. Tell me you couldn't see that at your local Hot Topic. Like, that's a cool looking packaging, and a cool looking packaging, I tell you what, that can get you a long way, especially in a game like this, but I gotta see the price point. Hopefully we'll get to that relatively soon once we get done to this. But so far, I really like what I'm seeing here. Awesome, yep. use that font. Okay, so I thought that was a really well done video. Honestly, I think there could have been tightened up a couple places. Maybe I think mentioning a price would have been great somewhere in there. But that's a really solid video. I know exactly what I'm getting here. I honestly kind of know. I feel like if you just set this on the table, I could pretty much play it with my family right now. And that's saying a lot about a game. So, Fumble is first created to back software developer, data scientist, husband, dad, sports enthusiast, and game designer. Thunder Mouse Games. So this is oh no, tell me that's oh no, we're not losing internet connection. No, it's them, it's not me, right? It's them, it's not me. Yeah, cool. I'm still getting WWE news. We're good. Oh, poor Samoa Joe. Anywho, okay. I know that this is a passion project. That's what I know from here, but I will say you at least put some stuff in there, so that's good. Fumble is a fast-paced game combining card and pong skills to make for an exciting match of skills and reflexes. The idea and gameplay for Fumble is simple and easy to understand, making it a perfect game for 2 to 6 players of all ages. And that is one thing that I might consider putting into that main image as well. I thought the main image was solid, but 2 to 6 players... Oh, no, was it in there? Is 2 to 6 players in there? Yeah, 2 to 6 players I think would be cool. That'd be good to know. And then if it's 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, let me know it's a fast-paced, frantic game. I assume, but still, let me know. All right, so now we're going into the rules, which I kind of already go. Players until they have at least 21 points. I'm sure there's a variant where you have to hit it right on the nose or something. Or I don't know if you can do that. Many variations of this gameplay are in the works. I imagine going for 2-point conversions would be something you can do by taking a particularly difficult shot. We plan to take suggestions for official variations through social media. Now that is also another reason why you're going to be at 151st in popularity, even if you get this thing up and running, is what is Kickstarter going to want to recommend? Are they going to want to recommend a project that is having people actively giving them ideas in their updates in their comments section, getting engaged, and being on Kickstarter? Because that's Kickstarter wants you on Kickstarter. Just end of the discussion. Or people who are sending them off to Discords or Facebooks or Twitters or different things like that. And I'm not saying it's not a great idea to try and bring those universes to here, but it's just something to be careful about because you don't want to fall too far down on the popularity chart, because 151st, most people aren't finding this game through Kickstarter, I feel, at that point. All right. The full rules are posted in this document. The full rule booklet is still in design. Okay, so it's a pre-production rule booklet. Doesn't look great. It looks like about what you'd expect, honestly, for a game like this. Some pictures, illustrations, examples would be rock solid here. If we could get just like some pictures just spliced in here of like the setup and whatnot. Also, components is good. Components before setup, always something that I think is delightful. Industry standard for a reason, because it's just awesome. The deck, the game contains 30 cards, 5 of each of the positions shown below. Notice that each card has, so this is the cards that you're going to be passing around the deck. The game is also, cup is the passing. We want to save as many trees as possible. Cool, you get the thing. Make it for easy shipping and storage. QR code, hopefully that'll be a how to play video. I would hope so. Fumble, or maybe it's to buy it. It probably might be to buy it too. That looks good. This looks really solid. Custom things. The balls, real ping pong balls, not the cheap beer pong style, and custom branded with a Fumble logo. That's hot. This is all good. Game ships April 2022. That is a really quick timeline. Okay. We plan to ship, which means they're probably, I'm going to guess, manufacturing in the United States of America. And if that is the case, I would spotlight that. You know, that's going to be a separate group of people who say, all right, I want to support this even more. I see this as a passion project. I like football. I like the cut of your jig. I want to play this with my kids. It's also made in America. I think that's just something, it's just a little bit more of a rallying cry that you could potentially use marketing-wise. So I think it'd be good to let that be known. Made in the United States. It moves the needle for some people. And for other people, you know, I think it moves the needle more in a good way than in a bad way is what I'm getting here. We will be charging shipping after the Kickstarter concludes based on the actual cost incurred to ship. We will collect this payment via our pledge manager after the campaign ends using PayPal. This is so we can fair to all our backers. The shipping is rarely one size fits all. Approximate shipping price in the US is $5 per game. So that's wow, that's great. That is a great shipping price. Fantastic. Like, honestly, maybe a little bit higher on that too. Like that's great. Now I do need the rest of the world's shipping information. You know, at least Canada. Like at least hook Canada up because Canada has football as well. The rest of the world probably doesn't care. But let's check out. Obviously, I think it's mostly going to be the United States of America. One person in Germany. One person in Germany is like, yeah, I'm taking a flyer on this one. Okay, good for them. Cool. Maybe I love that. But still, I think maybe maybe mentioning that, because that's a great shipping price, a little bit higher. Thunder Mouse Games. Fumble was designed as a pandemic project by two very talented kids. Cool. Looks like a really cool game. Top-notch job. Add-ons. Thunder, and I like the design. Very cool mouse. Risk and challenges. So yeah. Shipping to at least Canada would be good as well. Because then, whatever you're using some sort of, if you could fit this into a small flat rate in some way, shape, or form, you're going to have to do a customs form, because most of the time, I don't know. It's just something to look into. It's a nice little courtesy. So what do we got? The box seats. Stay up to date with this campaign, so people just on the fence about this. I don't feel like most people are going to be on the fence about this. $17. I would spotlight that price as well. So here's my main thing here. I think that you have very cool and distinctive packaging. I would like to see the packaging on the main image. I'd like to see that this is $17, $22 shipped to the United States of America. Maybe even spotlight the fact that it was, well, I don't know if you want to spotlight the fact it was designed by a 7 and 9-year-old, but it worked for Core Quest. It can work. Now, granted, Dan and Cora were also on the Dice Tower, and so that really helps give you an amplifier, and they do amazing content as well, and the game looks really cool. But anywho, what I'm saying is that might be something to lean into a little bit there, but I think definitely the packaging, $17 price point. I've done polls before, anything under $25, people will put a lot less research into it. And getting it out of playing cards. I think that's the big thing right there. Because most of the people that go into playing cards, this is not what they're looking for. And, so yeah. Final grade on this one. Do I want it? Yes. I feel like the video is very well done. I thought it was a bit long, but I thought it was really well done. Can you do it? That's another thing. I would love to know who you're manufacturing through, or how you're manufacturing, or something like that. It's not crucial, but you talk about the production timeline, but who are you shipping through? Or who are you manufacturing through? I think that'd be cool to know. So can you do it? It's your first, this is what Kickstarter's for. But there's no, red flags that it's like, oh, they're going to run off with the money. They're asking for $1,000. It very clearly looks like a passion project, so yes, can you do it? I feel relatively comfortable. How much is it? Great price. Great, $22 in and out the door if you're in the United States of America. How many people love football? Millions upon millions upon millions of people watch it every weekend. So yeah, I think this has definitely some potential here. And you might say, this crossover with Kickstarter isn't the biggest because less people are in the tabletop hobby are likely to watch football. And I'm sure that is. I'm sure there's a slightly smaller percentage. But still, there's tons of football fans in the hobby. So once again, get on board gaming. I think there's a lot. I think a relaunch would be spectacular for this. Get it up on Board Game Geek. Get a small fan base of people interested in this game. Maybe look into some stretch goals. You seem to have your manufacturing down pretty pat. So if you hit $1,000, this catches somebody's eye. They want to support the project. What's going to incentivize these? What's a way? Could we get better quality cards? Could we get more variants in the rule booklets and you start announcing variants? What are some things that we could potentially add to this game to give it more value? And I would look into that as well, stretch goals. But overall, I think it's a solid project. I would consider backing this one, absolutely. So I'm going to give this one a B+. I think it was great. I think it was good. I think it was very good. I don't think it was great, but I think it was very good. I think just a little, but once again, this honestly, I'm gonna bump it up to an A-, because I gotta say, this feels like a very mom and poppy style one, and of a lot of the mom and poppy style Kickstarter board games that I check out, because I'm one of the few people who covers all the stuff at the bottom of the Kickstarter popularity chart. I cover the top and the bottom, and I think this is one of the most well-ran ones I would have on what I'd call a shoestring budget. It's just like a family. So I'm going to go A- on this. I think they did a really solid. Well, but then the playing cards, we're going to go with a B+. We got to get out of playing cards. That's for tarot and fancy stuff. But I think with a relaunch of this, get it up on Board Game Geek, this definitely has the potential to turn into a really cool thing, especially with that $5 price point. Dang, I missed this one. A-. I'll have to go back and watch the rest. I'm adjusted to a B+, but still, yeah, really cool looking game. And one that I hope gets funded because it looks neat. But if you enjoy this coverage, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below as I cover different Kickstarter things all the time. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube. Bye-bye.